Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our final World Learners session. Great to have you along this morning. Thanks for joining me. I've noticed I'm a little bit glitchy this morning from my point of view, so I'm hoping that from your point of view, it's okay. We've got a few people joining us live. Great to have you along. Hello to Bonnie. Hello to Betty, May, Timmy and Iris, Grace and Rose, Willow and Caden. Hello to Aurora, Clem B and Connie. Hi Ezra. Hello Oliver and Finlay, and hello to Oliver and Rose. Well, lots of people popping up in the chat this morning. We're all ready to get going. Hi Cora, and hello May. Lovely to see you. Right then. Are we ready to get started? And normally with our World Learners sessions, when we've been mapping our glorious world, we have been zooming out and we've been zooming in. So we've been zooming out and looking at the different ways that the world is mapped, and then we've been zooming in on particular continents and countries. And this time we're going to... Oh, someone said they can't hear me. Can you all hear me? Can you give me just a yes if you can? So this time we're going to zoom in and zoom in. So we're going to take a much closer look at maps. We're going to look at map symbols and grid references in maps. Is this something you've looked at before? Well, you can share your knowledge with us. Thanks, Ezra. You can hear us okay. Right. So back in the old days, when I was probably about your age, we didn't have things like sat navs, and we didn't have fancy phones with maps on. So if we wanted to get somewhere, we had to use a big old map, and we might have a road atlas if we were driving somewhere, or if we were trying to find a particular location, we would have a big map like this, and we'd be navigating, looking at following the roads and trying to work out what the symbols meant. And we weren't even able to zoom in with our fingers. It was tricky. Things are a lot easier now. But using these maps, still really useful for mapping our world, for mapping different locations, for finding out about the geography of different areas too. So we're going to start off today with a little game. Let's have a look at some map symbols. I wonder if you can tell me what some of those are. Have a little look. Have you seen any of these before? What do you think? Yeah, definitely too big, that map, wasn't it? And I only opened it about halfway. I have a lot of memories of car journeys with my mum sitting on the front seat with this huge map open, saying things like, "There's a church, turn left." I'm sure a few of your parents have memories of that too. Before the sat nav told us to turn left. Right, so what do you think? Any of these symbols that you've seen before that you think, yeah, I definitely know what that is, or any that you might be able to work out? What do you think? Have a little look. Right, we think the wiggly line is a river. We think number one is a campsite. Yeah, I think so. And we think there's a motorway. Yes, we've got it labelled there, haven't we? M1. Could that be motorway? What do you think? Got a wooded area or a forest? Yeah. What else? Circle with the line going through it. So that red one, we think could that be a train? Could it be a train station? What do you think? Got a few more guesses coming in. Oh, Aurora, that's interesting. Aurora's grandpa has loads of old maps from having to flight plan for helicopter flying. Wow, fantastic. Oh, I bet his map reading skills are amazing then. So we've got, yes, pine trees, we think are the woods. Cyclist sign, we think, and Hannah, William and Samantha agree that number 1's a campsite. Ezra thinks number 12 is a lighthouse. Thank you for numbering them, guys. I forgot to put numbers on, didn't I? It does make things easier. Sorry about that. And we think we've got the river. Now, Hannah, William and Samantha think the bike is to show where there's a cycle path. Good thinking, guys. Carnival or a theme park? Oh, yes, the carousel one. We think theme park, or I suppose an attraction, maybe an amusement attraction. The bottom one we think is a school, perhaps, the SCH, short for school, maybe, yeah. And bike lane. What are we missing then? What haven't we got? What about the dotted green line and the black and white sort of striped line? Any ideas on those ones? What do you think? Ah, thank you. Someone said the middle one, that dotted green one, could be a footpath. And what about the black and white one? What else have we got a gap for? That cross at the top. Campervan or campsite, yeah. What do we think? I think we've almost covered them all, haven't we? Well done. Could it be a zebra crossing? Could it be a railway? Few guesses for that one. Right, shall we take a look? Let's reveal all our answers. Did we get them right? I think we got a lot of them right. Well done, everyone. I think we pretty much covered them all, didn't we? So that black and white one was a single track railway, was that one. And we were almost there with the red one, the red circle with the kind of line through it is a bus or coach station. I think a train station is just a red circle, isn't it? I should probably check on my map, shouldn't I? I could probably work it out if I had a look. We've got bus or coach station. Let me see if I can find it while we're looking. I can't find it. There we go. There's something for us to go and research. What's the train station? Yes, the beige block, that is sand. Yeah, so that kind of colour anywhere marked on a map. I suppose it's a bit confusing seeing it as a block because you don't often get a square beach, do you? But if you have a beached area, yeah, that would be shaded in that colour. Well done. Rose and Violet got picnic right from Imagination Station. I think we've looked at map symbols there, haven't we? Well remembered. And we got the lighthouse, yeah, at the bottom. Well done, guys. Fantastic. Right, that's got our brains warmed up. Let's have a look next then at grids on maps. So if you open a big map and you're looking at it, you'll see that it's divided into lots of small squares. We've got grid lines running down vertically and horizontally across. So our map is crisscrossed with these vertical and horizontal lines, and this creates all these individual squares known as a grid. Using the grid and squares helps us to narrow down the area to search for somewhere, making it easier to locate features on a map. And in an ordnance survey map, like that one, the one I've got here, each square represents the same size area of 1 square kilometre. So each one square is a square kilometre across and down there. So eastings and northings. Have you ever looked at coordinates in maths? Some of you might have. This is really similar to this. All of the grid lines are numbered to help us find areas on a map. We've got eastings. Those are the numbers that run from left to right on the map. There they are along the bottom, 31, 32, 33, 34. Those are our eastings on this map. And our northings run from south to north. We can see those up the side there, 42 up to 45. 4-figure grid references then. So using the 2 digits of the easting and the 2 digits of the northing creates our 4-figure grid reference. This is the reference for the bottom left corner of the square on the map. So that square marked in pink there. This makes it easier to search the map for different features. And this is our important bit. Always start with the eastings first. Try to use that phrase along the corridor and up the stairs. That's a good way to remember it. So we're going along first and then we're going up. So our grid reference, we can see it there for this pink square. We've got 32 because that's our easting along the bottom, and then we've got 43, and that's that point where the two meet. It's a little bit like when we looked at our lines of longitude and latitude, isn't it? Oh yes, like battleships, someone said. Yeah, great example. And then we've got 6-figure grid references. So the 4 ones will only get us so far. What if we really want to zoom in even further? We can make our references even more precise by adding an extra number to both the easting and the northing. This helps us work out the whereabouts of a square that you're looking for, a particular point. So now we've got a tiny pink square there to find within our darker blue square. So just imagine each square is actually its own grid of 10 by 10. So if the feature, let's say we're finding a fun fair or a theme park, if the feature is halfway, then the extra number will be 5. So this extra number helps us to pinpoint where that place is. So if we look at the example there that we've got 32, and then we're 4 tiny squares along, aren't we? So we've got 32, which is our easting along the bottom, 4 is with a 4th square along, and then we've got 43 up the side on the northing, and we're how many squares up? 1, 2, 3 squares up. So that's our 6-figure grid references. So a way of zooming in even further. Okay, let's have a go then, shall we? We're just going to look at 4-figure grid references for this one. So have a look at this map. We've got our eastings along the bottom there, going from 11 up to 18. And then up the side, we've got from 20 up to 28, our northings. So remember, we're going to go along the corridor and up the stairs. So we want to find what landmarks are in those squares that we're finding. So 1424 is our first one. So you'd go to 14 on the bottom, go all the way up until you meet 24, and have a look in that square. It looks very small to me. I'm hoping you can see it, and have a look what's there in that square. Then do the same with 17. Start at 17 on the bottom and 22. Up the side. So I'm going to just disappear so that you can see this a bit clearer, so it becomes a bit bigger. Have a little go at this and see if you can find what landmarks are in those squares. Oh, well done, guys. You're doing brilliantly. It is tiny. I'm aware of that. And it's hard to read. I'm really sorry. You've done so well. Right, let's have a little look then at our answers. So if we went forward to the grid reference 14 and 24, we'd see Angel in that square, just in that bottom corner there. And then we've got 1722. So we go 17 on the bottom, 22 at the side. We've got Mill Farm. And then the last one, 1324. So 13 is our easting at the bottom, and we're going up. So we get to 24. What can we see in that one? We've got Blythe Hall. Well done. It was definitely hard to read those. So another little skill for you to have a go at. If anyone's got a map at home, have a little go at that, practicing with some good references. Or there's lots of resources too on the Twinkle site, and I've linked to some of these for you to have a go at yourself, where hopefully you'll be able to see them a little bit clearer. After our session, so you can have a good practice at lots of different maps and at finding locations. There's all sorts of puzzles and games in those. Well done, guys. Right then, we've zoomed in quite far there, haven't we? I don't think we could have zoomed in very much further. So now I reckon it's time we headed off to a new continent this week, to a new country. So have you been following along on the Home Learning Hub? Who's found out what our continent focus is for our adventure of the world this week? Those of you that are doing Bake Off, you might have found out. Those of you that have been looking at the lap books that Lizzie's been sharing on Mondays, you might have found out our continent is Oceania. And we're going to zoom in today on one particular country there. We're going to zoom in on Samoa. How much do we know about it? Is that a totally new country to you? Have you heard anything about it before? Seen anything on TV? Read anything about it? Found it on your map? Well, let's start by watching a video together to find out a little bit more about it, shall we?
This week we're zooming in on Samoa, a beautiful island country in the heart of the Pacific Ocean. Samoa is made up of two main islands, Upolu and Hawaii, plus several smaller ones. It's located about halfway between New Zealand and Hawaii. It's covered in lush green forests and waterfalls. The biggest island, Hawaii, is still home to an active volcano called Mount Sulisili. It's the tallest mountain in Samoa. And on the island of Upolu, you'll find Apia, the capital city where most people live. It sits right on the northern coast of Upolu Island, next to the ocean. Apia is the largest city in Samoa, and it's where most of the government buildings, shops, schools and hospitals are. Apia is also full of beautiful churches, because religion is a big part of life in Samoa. So what's the weather like? Samoa's climate is hot and humid all year round. There are only two seasons, the wet season from November to April and the dry season from May to October. Samoa is full of amazing nature, and coral reefs surrounding it are bursting with colourful fish and sea turtles. Samoa is more than just a group of islands. It's a place full of life, culture and natural beauty. So next time you're looking at a map, head to the Pacific and remember, Samoa may be small, but it's full of big wonders.
Oh, well, who now wants to visit Samoa? Yeah, I definitely do. Doesn't that look amazingly beautiful? So for some of you, this is a totally new country, not heard anything about it. Some of you know which continent it's in. Yeah, when I've heard of it. Yeah, me too. I think, wouldn't it be lovely to go there? It does look like a wonderful place to explore, doesn't it? Well, let's find out a bit more about it together, shall we? And we'll start with the continent that it's in. Okay, let's take on this challenge now. We've been really good at these, haven't we? I think. How many countries can we name? This time our continent is Oceania. I wonder how many countries we can name that are in this continent. What do you think? Some of you said a couple of countries that Samoa was near, I think, earlier. So we can probably name a couple. But the Oceania is made up of a lot of small island countries. So some of these, a bit like Samoa, are kind of less heard of. We've maybe not looked into these before. Right. What have we got then? We've got some countries flying in the chat. Well done, you lot. Right. Ezra said Australia and New Zealand. Yes. Well done. Have we got any more to add to the list? What do we think? Indonesia, is that part of Oceania? What do you think? Papua New Guinea? Let's have a look. Oh, Fiji, someone has said. And I think you did a unit study in World Learners, didn't you, with Chrissy on Fiji? Yeah, so spot on, is part of Oceania. New Guinea, Tonga, another one. We think, could the Philippines be part of it? Have a think. Any others we can name? What else have we got? Samoa, of course, yeah. And the Solomon Islands. Well done. We've got lots here, haven't we? We're doing brilliantly. Oh, fantastic. Nauru, some smaller islands as well. Are we running out? Let's have a little look at some. Right, I've given you some hints here. We've got a picture, but it may not be too much to go off there. But I've filled in some of the letters for you on these. I wonder if we can fill in the rest and work out which countries these are. Yeah, no, Fiji, not part of Japan yet. Spot on, it is in Oceania. Right, what do you think then? Right, we reckon we've got the Solomon Islands there. So that one's top right here. Okay. Can we fill in the gaps on the others? Papua New Guinea, we think we've got on the bottom. Do we agree with that? Yeah, I think that works. Oh, Grace and Rose, well done. I think we're struggling with the last one, with the bottom right. Do we know? Oh, Ezra, well done. New Zealand, yeah. Let's double check. Did we get them all? Yeah, so we have Australia, the Solomon Islands, Papua New Guinea, and New Zealand. Let's have a look at another 4. Have a look at these ones then. We've got a few letters there to go off. I think most of these have been mentioned already. But can we fill in the gaps? Can we name them all? Okay, we're straight in with Fiji being that bottom one. Yeah, well done. And filling in the gaps, could the top right one be, where are we heading to today? Samoa, well done. And we think the one below that, Tonga, well done. Yep, Connie. And so we're missing that top left one. Any ideas? Have we heard of this one? Vanuatu. I probably will not say this right. How would you say that? Vanuatu? Vanuatu? Vanuatu. I think the U is like the oo sound. Vanuatu. Well done. Fantastic if you got that one. And that's a new one for me. I realised this week, getting ready for our session today, I have not studied Oceania hardly at all through my life. So I've loved finding out more about these countries this week. Right then, so we've got Oceania. As a whole, as a continent, it's quite unusual, I think, because it's really vast. It covers a lot of land and ocean, and it's really diverse. It's made up of thousands of islands scattered across the Pacific Ocean. Some of them not inhabited even. The region ranges from huge developed countries like Australia to some of the world's smallest, most remote island nations like Tuvalu and Nauru. Two really small islands. Excuse me, I've got a right tickle in my throat. Oh dear, sorry everyone. Let's have a look at it on the map then. And we've got a little zoomed in section there showing us where Samoa is. So you can see just how tiny Samoa is. If you look at it in comparison with Australia there on the left, Samoa is a tiny island. We can see Fiji there, just near it. And then all the way off to the right, we've got French Polynesia. Lots of tiny, tiny islands. And zoomed in on Samoa, we can see that it's divided into two main islands with a couple of, a few smaller ones as well that surround it. So how do you think the islands were formed? How was Samoa formed? I've given you three options here. Was Samoa formed by volcanic activity? Or were the islands formed by movements of tectonic plates? Or the islands were once the sea floor, which has become exposed? What do you think? Was Samoa formed by volcanoes? Were the islands formed by movement of tectonic plates? Like we talked about in a previous session about tectonic plates moving and colliding together. Or were the islands once actually the sea floor? And have they become exposed over time? Has the sea level changed? What do you think? Right, we're going with a bit of a mixture, but mostly A's. We think Samoa was formed by volcanic activity. Yes, Connie, does it still have an active volcano? Good question. You're spot on if you thought it was A. The islands were formed by volcanic activity. The largest island, Savaii, has a volcano at its centre. And that is known as Mount Silisili. There are many volcanic craters and lava flows on the island, but no volcanic eruptions on the island since 2023. Not really very long ago. So yes, that would still obviously be classed as active volcanoes. Yeah. Oh, look at these pictures. It does look like an amazing place, doesn't it? The island's rivers are shallow and they run from the highlands down to the coast. So there's no huge rivers here with kind of heavy industry and barges and boats and things. All of the rivers are fairly shallow, and there's lots of waterfalls, again, because of it's lots of high elevation. There's mountains. So we get lots of big waterfall drops. Lagoons and saltwater pools separated from the sea by either sandbanks or by coral reefs are really common features in the islands as well. So what about their climate? Is Samoa in the northern or southern hemisphere? Answer that one for me quickly. I know you'll be able to do this pretty quickly by now. We've talked about northern and southern hemisphere. Remind ourselves what that means. Northern hemisphere is north of, what's that line round the middle? The equator, yeah. So we've got northern hemisphere above the equator, southern hemisphere below it. Yes, so Samoa falls in the southern hemisphere. And what do you think the climate is like? We've got these climate categories here. Which one would you put it into? We had a look at, I think your resource last week I shared with you was a climate map, wasn't it? What are we going for then for Samoa? Is it polar, temperate, arid? Is it tropical, Mediterranean, or mountain? What are we going with? Right, we're pretty unanimous. Ezra and lots of people agreeing that it's a tropical climate. Are we all in agreement? Yeah, I think we are. Yes, a tropical climate, and there it is. We can see our climate map there, and the places marked in red are tropical climate places. And you can maybe see that one of those dots might be Samoa. Can you spot it to the right of Australia there? The cluster of islands. It's so small it may not even be marked on this map. But yes, it would fall into that red category of having a tropical climate. So the temperature stays at around 27 degrees throughout the whole year. Why is this? Why does that temperature remain so consistent? What do you think? Well, have a think about that. Why doesn't the temperature change? Why doesn't it have a distinct, winter and summer? Why doesn't it get colder at certain points in the year? Have a little think about that. And we'll have a look at this picture. The coasts in the north and west of the islands receive lots of rain. Inland, it is a little bit drier, but the coastal regions around the edge of the islands have a lot more rain. Typhoons and tropical storms that we looked at last week when we were talking about South Korea, with winds of over 74 miles an hour occasionally hit Samoa. Same effect that we were talking about with South Korea, that warm air rising in the Pacific. Do you remember our cycle? The warm air rising up, the colder air rushing in, that cycle that can build to a tropical storm or a typhoon. So going back to this question, we've been having a think about it. Why does the temperature stay consistent throughout the year? Let's have a little look. Is it because it's an island? Is it because it's quite close to the equator? Is it to do with the interconvergence zone? I think we're on the right track with that. So the temperature stays consistent most of the year because of its location. Yes, spot on. It's near the equator. Being close to the equator means the sun's rays hit the surface at that high angle throughout the year. That's where we get the more consistent warm weather and warm temperatures. Well done. So it's all to do with its location, isn't it? Well, I thought we'd have a little look at some of the landmarks of Samoa next. Let's have a little look at these. Right. Oh, this is going to make you want to visit it even more. Let's have a look. Let's have a look at some of these. Who would like to be on that beach right now? Yes, me, definitely. I think I'd take that over, well, what's rather a kind of cloudy and rainy day where I am. So this is Luamanu Beach. In Samoa. It's got beautiful white sand, well, we can see it there, and views of the smaller Samoan islands from that beach. It's believed to be one of the best beaches in the world. What do you reckon? Yeah. I wish we could book flights right now. That would be nice. It does look amazing, doesn't it? And coral reef surrounding that beach as well, which is another way that those islands are partly protected. The coral reefs are really important to the Samoan islands. Let's have a look at another landmark, shall we? This name, I think, is probably one of my favourites so far. You know me by now with pronunciation, it's not always the best. I always have to look up before I come and see you how I pronounce these different things. This is the Papapapatai Falls. What a great name, eh? Papapapatai Falls. And I think the emphasis is on the Thai sound. The Papapapatai Falls, wowzers. This is on the south coast of Apolu Island, and you can find this amazing waterfall. The drop is over 100 metres. It's the highest waterfall in Samoa. And if you look up pictures of Samoa, you'll find lots of this waterfall. It's really beautiful, isn't it? Right, moving on. What have we got here? Right, what do you think is happening here? We can see lots of kind of dark black rock and a building, what maybe perhaps used to be a church. What do you think? Well, there's a clue in the title, isn't it? The Sali Aula lava fields. So these are exactly that, kind of fields of lava. Between 1905 and 1911, the eruptions occurred on Mount Mutavanu, which is the most active volcano, and it covered 5 villages in lava. The remains of these villages could be explored, and they show, look at that devastation that was caused by the volcano. We can see that hardened black lava that flowed over everything, homes and roads, and even a church shown in that picture there. Kind of a frozen river of rock, really, isn't it? Let's have a look at another. Alophaga blowholes. Check that out. I mean, it does look like a blowhole, doesn't it? Like you would see in a whale with that water shooting out the top of it. Amazing. Well, why does that happen? How has that occurred? Well, if we think about it, it's a volcanic place, isn't it? So over centuries, streams of lava have carved out different tunnels from the sea to the rock surfaces near villages, and one village in particular, Taga. When the waves rush into the tunnels that lava has made, the water is forced along that tunnel and then erupts under the pressure into the air, acting like, well, a giant water fountain, really, isn't it? It looks awesome. I think I've got some more pictures here of it. Yeah. Sometimes locals will throw coconuts into the blowhole just before the wave hits. And then the coconuts are going to thrown in the air by the force of the water shooting into those lava tunnels. Amazing. And we've got another landmark, the Sua Ocean, hang on, get the pronunciation right, Kirsty. The Tosua Ocean Trench. This is this is one of those pictures that you'll see if you do some research into Samoa, because it's kind of one of the most visually amazing landmarks. You can kind of see it in this picture here. If you look to the right, can you see there's a ladder going down into the water there? And this is another product of the lava flows that help to shape the whole island of Samoa. It's a natural pool, and it was formed by a volcanic eruption, and it caused the ground above to collapse into it. Its name, the Tosua Ocean Trench, its name Tosua means large swimming hole. It's a big deep hole filled with seawater. So the seawater has rushed into it, connected to the ocean via an underground lava tunnel. So visitors come and climb down that long ladder to swim. I think we can see it closer here. Yeah, there you go. To swim in those lovely turquoise waters surrounded by all of those cliffs. Amazing, hey? So there's just a few of the landmarks, but you can find out a lot more about Samoa through the resources that I've shared with you this week. So have an investigation into this place. We have just literally tiptoed on the surface of what there is to find out today. So have a look in the World Explorers pack. You'll find lots of activities to do in there and lots more detail about the culture, about the food, about the plants, about animals, all sorts that we can't do in one session. There's still lots to discover. But I thought we would finish today. Wrong one, sorry. Right, I'm back. I thought we would finish today with a bit of a quiz because we're coming to the end of our World Learners sessions and we've travelled all around the world, pretty much. We've covered a lot of continents. Antarctica, we've been up to Africa and Nigeria, looked at Nigeria. We've been to Europe and visited Romania. We went off to South Korea in Asia and down to Samoa in Oceania. There's some continents we haven't looked at yet, so keep following along the whole adventure of the world with Lizzie in the Home Learning Hub. She'll take you through the next two continents that are remaining. But I thought, let's test our knowledge of not only maps and how we map our world, but some of those places that we visited. Right, plug your brains in, everybody. Here we go. With question 1. What type of map is this? Right, we looked at maps last week, but can you tell me what type of map we've got here? Is this a thematic map? Is it a physical map? Or is it a political map? Can you remember the difference between those types of maps? What do you think? What are we going with? We're thinking it's number 2, a physical map. We can see lots of physical things marked on it. We can see rivers. We can see mountains. We're going with that. Yes, number 2, physical map. Well done. If it was a political map, we'd have those countries marked out, wouldn't we? Let's have a look at the next question. Right, what type of mountain formations are these? Can we match a word with each one of those, A, B, and C? We looked at mountain formations a little while ago. We had a quite bizarre demonstration involving tissue paper and towels and what else? Boxes, if you remember, looking at different mountain types. But what have we got here? Which 3 types? Can you remember their names? See if you can get 1 or 2. Okay. Have we had our guesses? What do you think? I can see lots of right answers popping up in the chat. Shall we see? Any that you can't get? We've got fold mountains. Remember, it's like the two tectonic plates colliding together over a lot of time. And yeah, folding. We've got the volcanic mountains, those explosive volcanoes which create mountainous areas, just like in Samoa that we were talking about. And we've got the last one, plateau mountains. Well done if you got those. Right, we're out of order. Oh, I think I forgot to take the answer off one of these. Okay, the next question was going to be, what is the intertropical convergence zone? But I've given you the answer already. Can you remember talking about this? We'll just do a recap then. This was the band of low pressure near the equator. We've got our trade winds. Do you remember talking about this? I think we demoed this on the globe. We've got the trade winds meeting and forcing that moist air to rise. Well done. If we got that. Oh, no, hang on. Oh, I'm sorry, everybody. Right, I gave you 3 answers here. I thought I'd given you the whole answer. Oh dear, I think it's got to that time, hasn't it? Maybe 5 weeks is just too much for Kirsty's brain. Let's move on. Right. Let's recap our longitude and latitude. Can you tell me which continent is 60 degrees west and 30 degrees south? Do you remember when we worked all these out? You did brilliantly at these. But which continent? Thanks. Classic Kirsty. Yep, I think that is. Sorry, everybody. Getting myself confused. Okay, have a little look at this. Can we find the continent? Which continent do we land in? Should we have a bit of a race? See who can land there first. What do you think? Well done, some of you. Hang on a minute. What's happened here? What's happened here? You've got a different answer to the question. Oh no. What has happened? Right, give me a second. Give me a second to get my brain in order. South America. Thank you. We got there. Well done. Oh dear. Yes, quite clearly. Oh dear. Well done. Right, I'm going to double check before I flash up the next one. Right, are you ready? Here comes our next question. What type of map is this? Is it a navigation map, a political map, or a topographical map? What do we think? Is it 1, 2, or 3? Oh, you're fast. Well done. There's probably some you can definitely rule out on this one, isn't there? Let's have a look. Yes, a topographical map. We can see those lines there. Can anyone remember what those lines are called? Covered in lines, some close together, some further apart. Those are our contour lines. Well done. Right, let's try another one. Right. Okay, here we go. Right. What is the name of the mountain range in Romania? Any ideas on that? Can you remember? Begins with a C. But can you remember the name of the mountain range? Oh, well done. Oh, I'm so impressed with you guys. You've plucked that from your memory banks, haven't you? Fantastic. Yes, it is the Carpathian Mountains. Brilliant. Let's have another, shall we? Which is colder, the Arctic Circle or Antarctica? This is casting our minds way back 5 weeks ago. Which one is colder, the Arctic Circle or Antarctica? Which one are we going for? And do you know why? Can you remember why? Why is one colder than the other? Well done. We're right. It's Antarctica. Have a think about why it's colder. There's a few different reasons, a few different factors that make it a lot colder. Can you remember? Yes, elevation. Well done. Because of its high elevation. There's other reasons. Why else is it colder? Can you remember? Tilted away from the sun because of its position in the globe, because of the cold wind. Fantastic, guys. Well done. Yet the high elevation, the reflection and the wind. Remember that it repels that sunlight. It reflects the sunlight away from it rather than absorbs it. And the isolation from warmth. How is it isolated? Can you remember my spinning bowl of water? Because of the Antarctic circumpolar current that flows around it. Yes, well done. Surrounded by the ocean, and it's got that current, that keeps it super cold. Oh, well done, guys. I'm so proud of you. Your brains are working a lot better than mine. Let's put it that way. Right, the Halasan. Is Halasan the volcano in number one? It's happening again. Is Halasan, slow down, Kirsty, the volcano in South Korea active, dormant, or extinct? What are we going with? This was last week's study. Do you remember? We were talking about South Korea and the volcano there. But is it active, dormant, or extinct? Well done, guys. You're spot on. It's classed as a dormant volcano. So not yet classed as extinct because it did erupt 5,000 years ago, but it's sleeping. Yes, well done. What are these known as? And in which country would you find them? Can you remember looking at these before? What are these known as? And in which country would we find them? What do you think? Can you remember? Or maybe what's happening there? What is that? If we can't remember the name of them. Right, Ezra says mud volcano. Was it in South Korea? Some people thinking it was in Romania. Mud Springs, Romania. Another vote for South Korea. Can we remember? Yes, mud volcanoes. The Burqa mud volcanoes. And it's gases, isn't it? Erupting meters, 3,000 meters deep. Bubbling up towards the surface and pushing whatever is in its path out. So salty water and mud. And yet they are in Romania. Well done. I think we got a couple left. What is this bird called and which country is it native to? Remember this beautiful bird. Can you remember what type of bird it was? What it was called or part of its name can we get? Or can you remember the country that it's native to? Where would you see one of these? Oh, well done, guys. Right, we've got, is it the red-crowned heron, we think? We think Africa. Red-crowned crane. Is it heron? Is it a crane? What do we think? The black-crowned crane, found in Nigeria. Well done. Which match the landmark with the country. We've got 4 different landmarks here. Well, one of which we looked at fairly recently. But can you match up which country they belong to? Can you remember the names of any of them? Or what they are? What have we got there? We think number 2, South Korea. Lots of people in agreement there. Number 4, Samoa. What about 1 and 3? We think number 1, Romania, and number 3, who's going to help us out with that one? Do we think? Or we've got a mix of opinion. We think number 3, Romania, and number 1, Nigeria, we think? What are we going with? Final answers, 3, 2, 1. Ding! There we go. So we've got Nigeria, the Abuja National Mosque, and in South Korea, we've got the Haseong-un Fortress or the Haseong-un Gate. And we've got the Sphinx Rock in Romania. Do you remember that? A naturally formed rock, and people named it the Sphinx Rock because it looked a bit like the Sphinx in Egypt. And we've got the Tosua Ocean Trench in Samoa. Well done. Phew, we did it. Well done, everyone. A massive round of applause from me. Your brains are on fire. Your memories are amazing. And I hope you've enjoyed learning a lot. I definitely have, as we've gone through our World Learners adventure together. I've loved every minute of it. And I've really loved learning along together with you. So let's see what we've got. Coming up this week, some resources to share with you and a sneaky peek of next week of what's in store. So this week I'm sharing some different map challenges. So we touched on looking at grid references this week. This will give you much more detail and practice and activities to get stuck into working on different grid references and map reading skills as well. There's one there from Beyond, if you're ready to take it up to the next level. And the other pack there is actually a Children in Need special pack, and it's about planning an expedition. If you're with someone, if you're on an expedition with someone with a disability, how you would need to adapt to that. So how you need to study the maps to prepare for your expedition to make sure you're both able to do it. So that's a really interesting one to have a go at. And then I've shared a game about Samoa. We've got a little multiple choice quiz there, have a go at. And of course, our World Explorers packs, which I know lots of you have been working through. Have a little dive into this one. You've got the PowerPoint there with tons of information in. You've got picture, postcards, some of the landmarks we looked at today, but some we didn't. So have a little look at those. Find out more about that amazing place. And next week, everyone, well, I'm bursting with excitement about this. We have a brand new week of wonder. And this time it's Mission Mystery. Things are going to get mysterious. Who will be joining us next week for Mission Mystery? You can join me live on Monday at 11 a.m. for our special live launch. Get your detective skills ready because we have a wondrous week packed with learning and activities. Don't worry, it won't be too scary. No, I reckon we can handle it. There are unsolved mysteries and things to investigate, and there'll be lots in store next week. So tune in on Monday at 11. I know lots of you come to Pathfinder, so that's easy to remember. It's going to be at the usual time, and more will be revealed very soon in our Facebook group too. Look out for posts from Lizzie. Join the event if you haven't already. Let's go. Mission Mystery is go. So I'll see you next week for loads of excitement and activities. Right. Have a brilliant rest of your day, everyone. Thanks so much for joining me today. Sorry about my little brain muddle in the middle there. Hopefully you'll forgive me. And I'll see you again soon. Bye for now. Bye.